Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today for Ellie's Studio, and I'm sharing with you this last layout that I've created with the January kit. Well, for now, the last. So I've used the digital cut file, and I have overlapped two of those hearts. And I want to put one of the hearts in, or one of the hearts in the photo, I want to put my photo in one of the hearts. And it is not going to completely back that, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. And then the other heart I want to back with that XOXO paper from the Love You paper stack. And I made a mistake in this because I wanted the XOs to orient straight up and down, which they are in the heart there, but I also wanted the photo to orient straight up and down. So I have left in here the mistake that I made so that you can see that even those of us that are on design teams make mistakes, and it's easily correctable. And even those of us who have been scrapping for 20 plus years, we're human too. So I even actually put liquid adhesive, but fortunately I catch my mistake before I go ahead and let it get too set, because otherwise that would have been absolutely no fun to pull up. See how I'm like, oh shoot, if my pictures the right way, then these letters are not oriented. Now, it wouldn't have been the end of the world, but despite the fact that there's a lot of movement on this page, because that gray sheet that I want to use to create a background has those horizontal lines, it's very obvious that this is, it really throws your eye off when you look at it that way. So it had to be fixed. So just using the bottom of the sheet and go ahead and fix that. So this picture is of my husband and I, and the journaling doesn't talk so much about love as, well, it does. It talks about our relationship. So it doesn't talk about where we were, although I do put the location. It references more our relationship. And I am not a pinky, red, lovey kind of gal. So, which is a lot of the colors that are in this kit, but I was still able to do a lovey relationshipy layout without having to use pink, which was pretty cool. I was super stoked about that. So you can see my color palette here is the blue and the yellow, and there's a lot of that in the kit itself as well as in the paper stack, so that gives you plenty. And then I supplemented it with the grays that are available in the kit, so the letters, the Jane Alpha letters, and then there is also some gray in a few of the other embellishments as well. So if you are a subscriber and you were subscribing to the January kit, you got that currently stamp set free. So that's what I'm playing with here. And then you could buy the die that accompanies that. And so I am just trying to figure out, so I've got this really nice color palette that's going on, but I feel like the bottom right-hand corner needs some more blue and some yellow to just tie it all together. It feels very top left heavy, and I like white space. You know I like white space, but I felt like I needed more color there. And really what I've struggled with, and I continue to struggle with till the very end of this layout, is because I've got that large rectangle, I almost need that journal card. I needed it to be yellow or blue, and so you will see my solution to that coming up. But this is what I'm struggling with. I'm trying to get that blue. I'm trying to get that yellow in there, and those labels look great. But you see how it still leaves that whole sheet of the gray very dominant on the page. So this is what I'm struggling with, and I left a lot of this in there even though I don't use some of the elements, and I do a lot of shuffling around of things because I can't get my brain to wrap around how I am going to pull that color in, and it ends up being a super easy solution. So I pulled out the cardstock that Elle Studio released probably about 4 months ago, and that is the perfect yellow match. And that's what's so great about Elle Studio is everything from month to month coordinates really, or ties over. Like some of last month's kit, the December kit, believe it or not, goes perfectly with this January kit. And then you're going to find that a lot of your January kit will also go with your February kit. And so I love that you can pull those colors. So I have committed to this part of the layout that I've got. And in order to really figure out how I'm going to fix that part that I'm still struggling with, I really just need to commit to this stuff, and hopefully something will come as I go. I know I want my title to be in that big yellow heart there, and I know I'm going to use the Jane stickers for that, the gray Jane stickers that came this month as an add-on. So I use a lot of the embellishments from the actual kit. I love this month's labels, the January 2022, 2022 labels. And I love how they coordinate with the journal tags, not journal tags, yeah, journaling tags with the hearts, and then also the large Jane alphas. I toyed with the idea of using the large Jane alphas, but I already have a lot of words on there, and so I didn't want the size of the large Janes. I felt like they were going to compete with the elements that I had on the page there, and I knew I wanted to use the gray because it coordinated. So I thought if I used that label stamp there from this month's add-on stamp set, the Love You stamp, that I could get that more dominant weight of color that would balance things. And so I'm toying with that, but in the meantime, I'm distracted by some other stamps, and I'm going to just add a few stamps into the page, and it just adds a very subtle effect, especially that XOXO when I repeat stamped that. So the yellow that I use on the page, and it's very subtle, is limoncello. I would say limoncello, and I would have put an E, but it's Limon, so limoncello from Catherine Pooler, and that is a perfect match to the yellow that is used here. And honestly, I can't remember what blue I used, but I think I'll have to pay attention as I'm voicing this over. So I originally thought that I was going to get, oh, so that is Paper Person, the Paper Person stamp set. I really like that blue. So you can see that I've stamped blue on the yellow that coordinates, and that's how I thought I was going to get that dominance of color down into that bottom right-hand corner. And so while it was dominance of color that I was looking for, it was also really more of a rectangle that was a dominance of color to soften that large gray sheet, is what I end up figuring out is what I need. And again, you will see that solution. It's the last thing to come up. So I know I want to put that currently on the page. I'm not sure whether I want to use yellow or blue, so the easiest thing to do is stamp both of them, and then use the die to offcut that. But while I'm doing that, I need my die cut machine. I'm going to go ahead and also stamp so that I can just cut everything at one time. I'm lazy like that. I really hate pulling my die cut machine out more than I have to. I love my manual die cut machine. There's something satisfying about that crack of the plates as you roll it through. It terrifies the cats, and they always go booking. But I don't know. I love using my manual die cut machine. I'm just too lazy to have to lift it from the floor to the table too frequently. I'm being honest. So truly, I thought that the blue and the yellow was going to go on that right-hand side, and that was going to provide what I was looking for. But you can see I'm going to shuffle these around a million times. It would have worked. It would have worked, but it was not the look that I was looking for. So another little clue as to what I'm going to use is look at those hearts, those big hearts that are nestling the photo and what's going to be the title. They are outlines, right? Kind of a clue coming up. So I thought that maybe the labels would work, and having the staggering of labels. And they do work, right? They're not bad. It totally would have worked when they were over on the right hand side. But again, still not that look that I'm looking for. We all get tripped up, right, on a particular thing. You know you want it to look different than what it is that you've done. You just don't know what that different is until you've shuffled things around for the millionth time, right? Um, so these are those labels. And again, I love the colors. I love the pops of colors, especially that blue label with the heart in it. I love that from the Love You stamp set. But doesn't it seem empty at that bottom right hand corner? Even if I had journaling, just visualize the journaling in that 3x4 tag pocket card there. It's just not right, right? Am I right? Is it just me, or do you feel that way too? I hope you feel that way too. And so I believe coming up, you are going to see how I solve that. I am going to go ahead and use this stamp. I really love those phrases with the little arrows from the Love You stamp set, and I wanted to incorporate more of them into the page itself, but again, I feel like I have a lot and I don't want to overcrowd in my search for what it is that I'm actually looking for. So again, this is the January kit and add-ons that I am creating with. The kit itself is very dominantly softer pastel-y girly colors. And I hate to say that, but it's pinks and purples and reds, and I love reds and I love purples. I just I can't work with that color palette. It's just not a color palette that is my favorite. And I want to love the pages. There we go. Ta-da! The solution. Do you see what I'm going to do with this? Wait for it. Wait for it. Isn't that perfect? So easy, so easy. But you've got your outline, right? That outlines that card, and you've got that bright pop of color that totally just, that seals the deal for me. And did you see my thumbs up? I'm like, yes, finally. So I thought that maybe I could use a little bit more of the card at the top left-hand side, but truly the layout really does not need anything else. Yes, it needs a title. Yes, it needs some journaling, but that's easy. Because I have that dominance of white in the center and then at the bottom right of the layout, I wanted to put that little shot at the top left-hand corner. That just gives you that diagonal movement from the white to the white to the white, and that ends up being the flow of the layout there. So you go from the big cluster, the cluster of hearts on the top left to the giant cluster of hearts, the outlined hearts with the photo and the title and the gray heart down to that bottom right hand corner there. So this month the basic shape cardstock stickers are white. You can color them, and that's what's perfect about them. But I wanted that little shot of white again at the bottom. I'm going to actually end up turning it and tucking it underneath, and I'm going to get one of my puffy yellow hearts from previous releases that are still available in the store. They're basics, and I'm going to put that little shot of yellow there, but I put some very thin blue and white baker's twine again just to pull that color into the page a little more. And then this is just the title, My Heart, because the journaling is about our relationship and not about where we were when we went on a hike. It was freezing. It was our Boxing Day hike. So that, my friends, is going to wrap up my layout. I hope you were as suspenseful as I was trying to be about how I actually ended up solving my dilemma. Big dilemma, right? First world problems. So there is the full layout and then the close-ups to follow. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you are doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.